Hey, what's up everyone? Bryce here. Got JL Moon Knight out here waiting. Quick little update. I've been kind of out for a little bit as far as postings and stuff, but I finally got some surprises for you guys. So I got a few different segments that I'm going to be covering. We got some of the Stinger RGB rock lights that I got installed finally. Got that Stinger Heighten radio put in, and then also going to be doing another review on the LOD rear bumper and tire carrier that I've got. I've had it for a few months now, so it's going to be a little review as far as how it's been holding up, any problems I've seen, and just kind of press from there, and then doing reviews on the two Stinger products that I got. So for this segment, we're going to be covering the rock lights first. I'm going to go over issues I had as far as installs, what I think of the lights and all that, and then press from there. I'll have another segment that I'll cover for that radio and let you know what I thought about there. Same thing, any issues that I had along the way, and show you just kind of how I installed everything. One thing I'll throw out there for anyone who doesn't know, if you haven't seen any of the initial posts I did, I am a Stinger ambassador. So all that really is they offer some products, I get great discounts for it. I give you guys referral links and discount codes. That way, if you order and you use my stuff, then you get discounts out of it. So, but other than that, I'm not paid for actually, like, how do I put this? Making their products sound amazing. I'm going to give you guys straight up honest reviews on everything that I had, what I've dealt with. So that's just a little heads up. I am an ambassador for them. For the LOD stuff, I have no connections whatsoever. That's going to be another just straight up honest review. I paid full out of pocket, full price, no discounts or anything for that rear bumper and tire carrier. So no worries. I am going to give you guys straight up honest answers on this and honest reviews. The thing I've never messed with as far as Jeep stuff, I've never done any actual review videos before. So what inspired me to do this is, out of all the products that I've been looking at, stuff I've researched, there's a lot of common videos, common brands that people will do reviews on, but then there's other brands that have great reviews, but nobody's really posting a lot of pictures of videos on them. So I kind of want to help start actually adding those pictures and videos for you guys so that you can see firsthand. If you got questions, if you're looking at it or considering it, you got a little more resources to actually view that stuff. So I'll go over, like I said, rock lights. The radio is a little more common, but still not a whole lot out there. So I'll show that to you, and then I'll cover the bumper. Appreciate it. All right, what's up guys? So we're out here. We got Moon Knight behind me. I'm gonna show you a quick run through on how I installed everything, where everything's running. I'll do some more videos later on when it's dark outside, but I'm trying to hit up while it's daylight now to show you exactly what everything looks like, how it turned out. And then yeah, we'll give you finished results. I'll give you a review on my personal opinion, what it looks like and all that. Go from there. All right, so starting off, we'll just start from the control box itself, how I ran everything. So you've got your power wires. I connected everything through there, just normal terminal. And then we've got grounding bolts here. That's where I ran the grounding wire. Now what I did is there is a separate little amp box, and I was able to just put a bolt in right there and just mount the box. I do have the factory auxiliary switches, so all I did was wiring harness. Northridge did a great video explaining that I believe switches 1 and 2 are 15 amp switches, so more powerful, like 50-inch LED bar sort of setup. And then switches 3 and 4 are like 5 amps for your smaller LED setup. So rock lights are perfect for this. Now, we'll just start from front, go to back. So I mounted one here. I've got the factory steel bumper, so I just drilled a couple quick holes, mounted it right up. You can't see it. All the wire gets tucked in through one of the holes. That is a factory hole in there. So I just had 2 small holes I drilled. And then what I did was I got everything ran through back here, went up, keep everything tucked away so the wire's not super loose dangling around, or it gets, you know, there's risk of it getting caught on anything. There's my second light that is inside the wheel well. So I ran the front bumper, the wire comes up, meets up with this one. There's 2 cords there. It continues behind the wheel well cover there. And then what I did was I found a factory wiring harness, or a set of wires. It goes behind this on top of the frame. They're actually zip tied in. And so that's where I don't know if you can see, you can see a little bit. You can't see the factory harness yet, but what I did do is there's my third light. It's right in the middle. That way I keep all my lights nice and balanced underneath, and it's not super spotty or spaced out. Looks like I need to re-zip tie these, but there is a harness up here that I am zip tying them to. Keeps everything tucked. These were wires I pre-did before I found that harness on top of the frame, so little ghetto, but the rest of them, they were getting tucked away up there. Everything's nice and at least somewhat clean looking and out of the way. And we'll step back here. So the frame follows all the way back here and up. So I've just kept the wires that way, and then went up. Everything stays behind this. What I will recommend and advise, you can rip these off. These will break. AutoZone has a couple of boxes of these plastic push that you can get for, I think they're like $3 for 5 or so in there. So I just went and got a couple of those. They fit perfectly, they work great, and everything still looks stock and factory. So here's where I mounted the other light. I did drill a solid hole through this that I am mounting, or I'm sending the wires through, so there is no excess wire anywhere around it. Everything goes up and behind this wheel well cover. Everything follows along back there. And what I did with the LOD rear bumper, they recommend for their wire extensions for third brake light and their license plate lights, everything routes up underneath through there. So you can see their wires come out from the bumper. LOD's wires come out through here, and then they recommended that it goes up here. And so that's where I sent all my other wires for the control module piece. The reason why I did this, instead of mounting the control box inside the engine bay area or something, Stinger recommends that you keep it where it's dry and cool, not where there's a lot of water and heat. So back here, this goes behind your third brake light, your passenger side brake light, I mean. So that is where I routed everything. All your wires come out through there. I recommend using like a spare wire. Use the spare wire to help like kind of feed through there. What I did is, after I did that and I had a single one of these pulled through, I used the passenger rear well light that once it got up here, there was a lot of excess cord. So all I did was I used that. I kept the excess outside. As I finished routing the rest of these underneath the Jeep over to this side, then what I did is I just taped these little tips, the plugs, onto that wire and pulled everything through at once. That way you're not having to refeed wire or anything through there constantly and trying to guess where it's at. So zip tie, electrical tape, whatever you can use that will attach the rest of these to a single one that you've already got routed, you're golden. It made life so much easier, and it was a lot faster working process after the initial parts were done. Like I said, control box is mounted back here. That just made it easier where everything stays nice, clean, and dry. There is enough space for the plastic cover to go over. I have not done that yet because I still have one more light that needs to get mounted, but I had to order a special extension piece because it goes for my driver front, and that cord is just not long enough. So bought a spare cord, an extension cord to put on there. The other light is up here on the bumper. Same thing as the front. I just drilled a couple small holes, sent the bolts through. Then you could see I mounted, or I started sending the wire through the rear bumper where everything was covered. Of course, I got airplanes flying over. So that's what I did there. Pretty simple and easy going. Overall install was not too bad. little rough at first as far as trying to figure out how I wanted to run things. That's probably the most tedious part, is just not so much figuring out where you want to mount it, but after you figured out where you want to mount it is how to run everything and how you're going to attach it. So for me, the whole purpose I did this setup, I like my lights balanced. I don't like a whole lot of spacing or gaps between the lights. I like everything kind of like uniform and even looking. So the package I got was an 8-pod rock light kit. So I'm doing one in the rear bumper, wheel well, in the center of the body of the Jeep, which I use self-tapping screws because the spot I mounted on, there's no access to the back side, or at least not easy access to be able to put bolts through there and actually get a nut threaded on. So I just went to the store, bought some self-tapping screws and called it good. Worked perfectly. I will recommend, make sure you get small enough self-tapping screws. The ones I got were a little oversized. They still fit through the hole, but the two issues I had was the actual head of the screw was a bit too big, and so as it screwed down in, it rubbed up against the actual housing where the light is, and so it scraped it up a bit. Let's see if I can get a good angle on it so you can see what I'm talking about. So right in there you can see the head of the bolt, a little too big, it scraped it, not a big deal. Same thing on that side. So not a huge ordeal. I can throw some paint over it. I've already got some touch-up paint, so I'll just slap it on there to keep it from rusting or anything. Other than that, front passenger side rear well, or front wheel well, and then front bumper, and same thing on this side, just repeating front wheel well, center of the body, and rear is where I mounted everything. So that's how I personally did it. That's all 8 pods. You guys let me know what you think. I'll have some nighttime shots after this so you can see how the lights actually look, how bright they are. Show you a little bit of the modes and the colors that it has. We'll press from there. Overall, from what I've seen so far with the lights, they're pretty good for the price you pay. I've seen a lot more expensive 8-pod kits. And I've seen other kits that only 4 pods that are probably the same price of Stingers. Overall, I would say great products so far. They are, you know, pretty decently bright. So I definitely think well worth the money. I'll do a follow-up review later on when I've been able to actually go off-road, splash through some puddles, get some dirt and stuff on them, make sure they hold up to any rock beatings, especially the ones in the wheel well. So that's all for me. Like I said, right after this, I'll get some nighttime shots to put up with this so you guys can see final results of it. So appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think.